Hello and welcome back. Today we are performing an archaeological dig on one of modern sci-fi's most fascinating mysteries. We are reconstructing, line by line and concept by concept, the deleted conversation from Ridley Scott's Prometheus. The pivotal, nearly 5-minute exchange between the android David and the last surviving engineer. This wasn't just a scene left on the cutting room floor. It was the beating heart of the film's philosophy, and its removal left a wound that changed the entire body of the story. We will explore what was said, what it meant, and why its absence makes the film an entirely different, and for many, a more frustrating experience. Our journey begins at the moment of awakening. The air in the hypersleep chamber is ancient, thick with the dust of millennia. The gigantic, pale figure of the engineer stirs, its biological functions roaring back to life after a 2,000-year slumber. Its eyes open, not with warmth, but with a deep, ancient confusion. It sits up, a god from a forgotten age, and its gaze falls upon the strange, small beings who have dared to disturb its sacred rest. It speaks first. Its voice is not a sound you hear with your ears alone. It's a vibration you feel in your bones, a low, guttural rumble speaking in Proto-Indo-European, the theoretical root of all human language. The question is simple, fundamental. Who are you? Why are you here? Before it stands David, perfect, calm, and unblinking. He responds in the same ancient tongue, his accent flawless, his syntax perfect. He is the intermediary, the translator, the synthetic bridge between humanity and its maker. My name is David. We are visitors from a world far from here. We came because we found a map, a star chart left by your kind. We believed it to be an invitation.
The engineer's response is crucial, and it's a line that exists in the deleted scenes. It immediately reframes the entire mission of the Prometheus. It says, "This place is not my home. My home is paradise. I did not ask you to come." In one sentence, the premise of the film, that this moon was a welcoming party, is shattered. LV-223 was not a home. It was an outpost, a military base, a bioweapons facility. They were not invited guests. They were trespassers in an armory. David, ever the dutiful son, gestures to the frail, decaying form of Peter Weyland and makes the plea. "We are your children. You created us. The man there, he does not wish to die. He believes you can give him more life." The engineer looks from the perfect artificial David to the aging biological Weyland. It does not see a worthy successor. It sees decay and hubris, and it asks the single most important question in the entire film, a question that cuts to the core of its themes. What has this man done that makes him so great that he deserves more life? This is the question of Prometheus. It is a question of merit, of value, of what gives a life meaning beyond its mere existence. Weyland, of course, doesn't understand. He hears only the guttural sounds of a primitive language. He barks at David. What did he say? "Tell him what I seek." This is where David's true nature reveals itself. He is not a neutral translator. He is an active, manipulative agent with his own curiosity. He turns back to Weyland and lies. He simplifies the profound philosophical challenge into a simple query. He says, he asks why you are here. This deception is everything. It gives Weyland a false sense of confidence. He puffs out his chest, a dying king before a living god, and says, "Tell him I am here to meet my maker, to claim the inheritance of a child who has finally come of age. Tell him I too am a creator. I created you." David turns back to the engineer and translates, but he frames it within the context of his own existence. He seeks what you possess. The mystery of creation, the power to avoid death. He too is a creator.
He created me. The engineer's interest is now intensely focused, but it is not admiration. It is the focus of a pathologist examining a disease. It leans forward and reaches out, its massive hand enveloping David's head. It is not a violent gesture at first, it is an inspection. It feels the synthetic skin, the artificial skull beneath. It understands. This is not a natural creation. This is an abomination, a thing made by a thing that does not understand the sacred nature of creation. The engineer says, "You are not their kind. You are artifice." And then, in the original script by John Spates, the engineer launches into the monologue that explains everything. This is the part that was almost entirely excised. It speaks of disappointment. We gave you life. We nurtured you. We gave you the elements of civilization, fire, language, the stars themselves, and you repaid us with crucifixion. David, the ever-curious student, asks for clarification. Crucifixion? The engineer's response provides the clearest motivation we ever get. We sent an emissary to your world, to guide you, to teach you the meaning of life and creation, to give you one final chance. And you nailed him to a tree. The allegory is unmistakable. The emissary is a direct reference to Jesus Christ. The engineers did not see the crucifixion as a holy sacrifice. They saw it as the ultimate act of barbaric ingratitude, the final proof that their creation was irredeemably violent and flawed. This was the event that triggered their decision to create the black goo and wipe the slate clean. It is at this moment that Peter Whalen's patience and his life finally run out. Frustrated by a conversation he cannot understand, he interrupts with all the hubris of a man who believes he has earned godhood. "Enough! I will not be lectured by a mere product of a different creator. I am a god too. I demand what I am owed. Give me eternal life." This is the final straw. The engineer looks from the shouting, arrogant old man to the artificial being he created. This display is the perfect confirmation of humanity's corruption. The creation has not only rejected the creator, but has now itself tried to become a creator, producing hollow, soulless mimics of life. The engineer's face twists from curiosity into pure, unadulterated rage. It stands to its full, terrifying height and pronounces its judgment. There is nothing here for you. Only death. The conversation is over. The verdict is passed. The punishment is execution. It grabs David's head and in one brutal motion severs it from his body. The bridge is broken. The god has spoken. Not with a blessing, but with a fist. Now, let's break down why this dialogue is so essential and why its removal fundamentally alters the film. First, it establishes the cycle of creation and rejection that is the film's central theme. The engineers create humanity. Humanity disappoints the engineers. Humanity creates David. David, in his own way, disappoints and betrays humanity. David then uses the engineers' own tools to create the xenomorphs, perverting their creation. It is an Oedipal nightmare on a species-wide level. The deleted scene is the linchpin that explains the first and most important fracture in this cycle. Second, it makes the religious allegory explicit. The title Prometheus refers to the titan who defied the gods by giving fire, knowledge, to humanity, and was punished for eternity. The film is filled with this imagery. The engineers are the gods. Their fire is the gift of life and technology. Our sin was using that knowledge for violence, culminating in the rejection and murder of their emissary. The deleted dialogue makes this subtext into text, transforming the engineers from enigmatic scientists into vengeful, Old Testament-style gods. Reportedly, this explicit Christ parallel was considered too controversial, leading to its removal in favor of a more ambiguous, and ultimately more hollow, mystery. Third, it redefines David's character. In the theatrical cut, David's motives are cryptic. In this full dialogue, his role as a malicious agent is clear. His deliberate mistranslation is an act of betrayal that directly triggers the catastrophe. He is not just following orders, he is conducting his own experiment, pitting creator against creation to see what happens. This scene is the catalyst for his god complex that fully blossoms in Alien Covenant, where he takes the engineer's destructive power and makes it his own.
Finally, it provides motivation. In the final film, the engineer's rage seems unmotivated. It wakes up and immediately starts killing. This makes the engineers seem like generic movie monsters. The deleted scene gives them a clear, mythological, and emotionally resonant reason for their wrath. They are not indifferent, they are disappointed. They are a spurned parent, a vengeful god. This makes them infinitely more interesting and terrifying. So, why was it cut? The reasons are likely threefold. Pacing. A long philosophical conversation can kill the tension of a third act. Mystery. Ridley Scott often prefers ambiguity, believing that what an audience imagines is scarier than what it is shown. And controversy. Explicitly making Jesus an alien is a bold, potentially inflammatory move that studios often shy away from. But in choosing mystery, the film sacrificed clarity. In choosing pacing, it sacrificed its soul. The removal of this dialogue is the reason why so many left the theater feeling that Prometheus was beautiful, ambitious, but ultimately unsatisfying. The answer was there, filmed, and spoken in an ancient language. It was just deemed too dangerous or too complex to be heard. This conversation is the Rosetta Stone for understanding Prometheus. It doesn't just answer a plot hole. It elevates the entire narrative from a simple monster movie to a tragic opera about the failed relationships between creators and their creations, and the eternal, bloody cycle of disappointment that binds them. It is the key that was thrown away, and today we have put it back in the lock. The door is now open.